who's in attendance. I think we got Alexandria, Fairfax, Turkey. That's pretty cool. Turkey, like the country Turkey, or you're having dinner. We have NYC, Virginia, Woodbridge. Hopefully you're not sitting in traffic. Baltimore, Vmore. No, I said that wrong. I always get with Falls Church, Philly. Okay. All right. I think we have the DMV in attendance, Upper Marlboro. In Maryland, you have Maryland in the building. All right, great. Cool. And let me admit a last few people in and we'll go ahead and get started. Those who are coming here, I'm going to share my screen. It looks like many of you have come here because you found the Meetup group AI at Work. We've been going for about a month or so on the topic of figuring out how to introduce AI into the workplace. For many of us, I think we're all figuring out how to use AI at work, or appropriate ways or inappropriate ways. It's up to you. But really, this was a place for us to come, talk, share what we've been learning, and to be able to kind of have shared experiences and also tips, things to learn, all those other things. One thing we have talked about on our last meetup was to set up a community for all of us to share information, stories, tips, tools. So what I've done, I'm going to drop a link into the Zoom chat. So we set up a Slack group. Let's see if this goes well, because because there's a lot of information, I'm probably going to put some of the information that didn't make sense to put into slides into the Slack group. So I'm going to put a link in here for those who want to join that. It's super brand new, so there's only a handful of Slacks or messages that I put in there. So feel free to start filling it up. Actually, I'll share it just so then it's not we all know what we're supposed to be looking at. For those who are not familiar with Slack, it's for those who work at companies that don't use Slack, it is a productivity messaging tool for internal messages, but people also use it to share and collaborate for communities and things. So there's now a Slack group that I created today. So if anyone want to use the link in the chat to join, I will be dropping in a bunch of stuff that didn't make sense to put into the deck there, into the Slack channel. Also, you can just share, connect with other people who are here today. So it's named the same as the Meetup group, so it should be, and I used the same image that we have for the Meetup group too. So give it a shot. Hopefully I set it up correctly where people can join. Oh, I see that. Let me share it one more time, because I think for those who are just joining, you have not seen the link yet. And I'll probably reshare my screen for those that may have just joined. Oh, no problem, Jenna. I'm glad we're able to catch that. All right, cool. So give it a shot. We'll see if it works. Hopefully I set it up correctly, and I'll try again at the end to make sure we're all in there for those who want to get in and leave messages, and then make sure I have the settings set up correctly. All right, cool. All right, I think that's the last bit of house cleaning. If not, then we're going to jump right into it. So I'm going to switch and share. And before I get started, make sure, is there any burning questions about ChatGPT and anything else before I get in talking about plugins? I think I will, because actually I'm looking at the poll. Actually, I'm going to end the poll in a second so people aren't being annoyed by it.
Marcus, the link for the Slack is not in the messaging right now.
Oh, it's not in the Zoom chat?
Yeah, no, it's not.
All right, let me try that again. Oh, you know what? I think I may have only sent it to one person, which doesn't make sense. I don't think I sent it to everyone. Thank you for calling it out. Yes, please. There's a lot more people than usual in here, so it is awesome that we have great attendance, but And yeah, please stop me if I'm saying something or if something doesn't make sense, or I said I'm sharing stuff, but it looks like great. I'm seeing thumbs up. So I effectively share the Slack link. So hopefully those who want to join, let me know, but I'll be dumping, there's a ton of more resources I'll dump in here because I didn't have a chance to like cut and paste a bunch of YouTube videos and links, but it looks like I did it successfully because I see people joining. So that's awesome. So please feel free, share links, share stuff you're working on, YouTube links, tutorials. It's really awesome to see people joining. That's pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Let's jump into this. This may be kind of interesting because ChatGPT, as of like yesterday, cut off the browser capabilities of ChatGPT. So things I were planning aren't going to work as well as I thought. So I had to kind of improvise a few things because of the changes they made to ChatGPT. But before we jump into it, I'm going to do a quick rundown, and this is an important note for those who are super new to ChatGPT. You want to go to openai.com or go directly to chat.openai.com to experience ChatGPT. I'm actually, and so yeah, mine's may look a little different because I have a Chrome extension that's working on top of mine's, which I probably will turn off so it's not confusing for some people. But what's really important for those who want to actually install plugins, it's going to be really important that you, if you want to be able to get access to plugins, you must be on a paid version of ChatGPT. And that's done, oh gosh, because I'm already a paid member, forgetting, oh yeah, it's under plans. Oops. So if you go to plan or my plans, and then you can upgrade to the $20 a month. That's currently the only way you can interact with ChatGPT plugins is with the paid account. So for those who just want to follow along with me, that's cool. I can also drop videos and other things into the Slack channel for those who want to see if it's worth the $20 investment. For me, I tend to use ChatGPT a lot throughout the day. The other advantage is, and I know some of this is starting to change, but the important thing that you do get with the $20 subscription is the ability to get more access to GTP4. GTP4 is a improved version of ChatGPT, which is you have much more availability to use it without limits with GTP or with the paid version. If not, you can use 3.5, but definitely if you're looking to, if you're doing, using it a lot for content, I would definitely recommend the $20 investment a month to be able to get access to GTP4. So yes, so before, I wanted to make sure that's super clear for some of our new users or new people to ChatGPT, that if you want to follow along, do the plugins yourself, you have to do the upgrade. So I'll give you a quick second if you do want to upgrade to do that to follow along. And then I'm going to quickly take a look at the chat. Oh, for those who are asking about my Chrome extension, I'm using, I'll pull it up here, AIPRM. Let's see if it pulled up the site, if I did this correctly. But this Chrome extension is pretty neat. What it does is it adds this, it adds a little bit of user experience on, or UI or features on top of your standard ChatGPT user experience. Usually if this extension wasn't there, it would just be the input field and a couple example prompts that they provide. With this extension, it provides you access to a shared repository of prompts that other people share. And then if you pay for the paid version, which I don't, you can get access to even more prompts. But it's really handy because there's ones in here I use pretty often around like the mid-journey prompt. I feel like I use that once or twice a day. But what people have done is they've pre-written prompts that have been tailored to specific use cases. So you can see in here, write a complete book with one click. Mid-Journey prompt, actually, I'll show you this one since I have it up and I use it a lot. This one, I would say I want sorry for also those who aren't familiar, Mid-Journey is a separate AI solution that's focused on creating generative AI based upon text prompts. So you can type in what you want the generative AI model to create, and it will create an image based upon its language model or based upon what it's been trained on in terms of image styles. So actually, I'll just show a quick version of that, but this tool is pretty neat for those who asked about it. I want to create a image about basketball. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. That was the first thing that came to my head. So what this does is there's already a pre-written prompt that is already embedded into the Mid-Journey prompt that I selected, and now it's taking what I've asked for it and created Mid-Journey detailed prompts, but also does it in a couple of variations. So it tends to be like a photorealistic one, a cartoonish looking one, a 3D rendered one. It does some variation of what I asked for in different styles, and then I can cut and paste what was provided in the prompt. And for those who are not new to Mid-Journey, this is probably a topic for another session, but I can take the prompt that I was given and enter it into Mid-Journey for the bot to create it, and it will now go off and create that. So I'll save that for those who are interested to check that out later. But for those who are interested, that is this Chrome extension. So it's pretty helpful. I use it a lot and can be pretty helpful. All right, cool. All right, let's see. All right, cool. Looks like give me 1 second. I will create a new Slack invite. For those, it appears that it may be not working. So let me just grab invite. 1 second for those who are needing help getting in. I think it's over here. And I want to create an invite link. Actually, I'll do this at the end. For those who are having problems getting in, I will make sure at the end of the session to make sure to get folks in here to the chat or into the Slack channel. But I'll put a note to that and make sure we get everyone in. It looks like some people are getting in and some can't. So awesome. All right. So I'm going to jump into this. All right. And all right. So hopefully I gave people time. If you did want to upgrade, you had time to upgrade. If you don't want to upgrade, that's fine. I will walk you through how to use the plugins, and then specifically the ones that I use pretty often, it related to AI at work. All right, so cool. Jump into it. I like using this AI generative tool for creating presentations. I don't usually change it. I just give it an outline of what I want it to create and allow it to create it. So here, this is my presentation. I wrote it, but then I let the AI tool actually create it. So for those who are asking, this is gamma.app. I use it a lot because it's actually really good, but you can cut and paste what you want it to create, or you can just have it create your presentation for you using a text prompt. And it's pretty good at creating both format and slides. And it's kind of like Google Slides, you can share it. But first, let's kind of talk about what ChatGPT plugins are. For those who aren't as familiar with AI, ChatGPT is a large language model that's been trained on large aspects of the internet that allows it to predict the next best word, to be able to create responses for you in the conversational chat-like style that you see in ChatGPT. ChatGPT enabled a little over a month or two ago the ability to add plugins, which if you think about the word plugins like WordPress and other tools, it means you can extend the functionality of ChatGPT for third-party developers to add functionality or access to different information to achieve a goal. And so these plugins have grown very quickly. I think the last time I looked at the ChatGPT plugin store, I think it's almost up to maybe 2,000 plugins. It went from maybe 20 to 30 to like 2,000 in a few weeks. And it's going to continue to grow. And even we're starting to build our own ChatGPT plugin. So I think it's going to be a huge opportunity for businesses to be able to introduce their business, their data into one of the fastest growing platforms in human internet history. So if you're interested there, there's huge opportunities in thinking about how do you position your business and create a connection to data information that you uniquely have and to expose it through a plugin. The plugins, you can define features that you want it to do. And then these tools connect off to third-party tools that support helping you do marketing or simplify more complex tasks and helping you structure problems and breaking them down. So I'll give some more examples. I'm going to drop into the Slack channel. I have different categories from marketing to business to SEO, and a number of them that I'll go through and actually pull up ChatGPT to highlight them. I've highlighted a few here. So Prompt Perfect is one that I use pretty often myself, but it helps you create better prompts for putting into ChatGPT. And so those who are super new, to get better results out of ChatGPT, you can refine the prompt or question that you create. I'll share in the Slack channel a video we did on just the basics of ChatGPT for those who are super new, of just how to create better prompts and questions to get better results out of ChatGPT and how to structure them. So I'll share that, and that will give you a good head start. So then for those who are newer, you getting additional help to help you out there. But these plugins I put here Prompt Perfect, Open Table, for those who are looking to book reservations while you're chatting. That could be interesting, but I think what makes Open Table more interesting is when you combine multiple plugins together to try to chain together events, and we'll highlight how that works. And then Wolfram is a program or software that can handle more complex calculations. ChatGPT can do some math, but Wolfram gives it the ability to do more complex math and calculations. And then there's a list of a bunch of others that I will either drop into the chat or we'll go through and highlight together. Let's see here. These are a few of the marketing ones that I highlighted. One, Calendar AI is helping for like doing calendar booking. There's the SEO Core for kind of like it sounds like helping you with keywords and SEO, which are pretty neat in terms of doing that directly into ChatGPT. And a lot of people are creating content or blog pieces and to be able directly in ChatGPT without having to go to a third party to be able to figure out keywords or adjusting it for SEO. I'm going to highlight one that's connected to Midjourney. That's photorealistic. Again, another way to create one-word prompts. And then I know one thing, a lot of us business owners or people in consulting or working people who are building things is finding good domain names. So I'll highlight that one. There's some things that you'll probably want to know about plugins, and I'll highlight these, and we'll see this once we go through a few of them. There's some that are completely free that are just prompts that are connecting to different data sets that help you produce results. There are some plugins that are connecting to third-party apps that require you logging into that app to make that plugin work. And so those are two of the big differences in plugins, that some require you to log into the third-party plugin developer to be able to make the plugin work. And then once you've either authenticated to that third-party app, you can then complete the entire process of interacting with the app or authenticating with that app to achieve the outcome you're looking for. The other common problem, again, this was AI generated, so sometimes it doesn't always nail the image or land the plane on the images. Some of the common problems you'll see is, and you'll see this in a second, is you can also, when you go into plugin store, you can also add unverified plugins. So these are plugins that have not been verified yet by ChatGPT, but you're still able to use. So those, depending on your level of confidence, you would use your own discretion with those. But I would, in general with the plugins, because they are third-party contributed, be mindful of what information you're sharing with them, because they are third-party developers. And even though I know ChatGPT are reviewing plugins that are contributed, that I would still be mindful of the information that you're using or sharing with them, depending on the level of sensitivity. So that's just another note as we're thinking about common problems or things to be aware of when using plugins. So I'll pause there because I've been talking for at least 10 minutes and just want to make sure that if you have comments, questions, or things you'd like to contribute, please do it now. I want to take a quick second to look at comments. All right, cool. I see SEO plugins. All right, cool. All right. All right, if you have questions, drop in here. If not, I'm going to, oh yes, there is actually, that's one that I'll start with Corey's question, which is any plugins for writing code. So I'll show you 2 ways for doing this. You can either, actually, I'll show you 3 ways. You can just do it the old-fashioned way. So I'm gonna actually pull up, oh, actually, I saw that last comment before I closed it, Corey, which is learning code. So there's a couple of ways you can actually do the code writing part. And this is actually really helpful because this also applies to a few areas of when to use plugins and when not to use them. But let's go here. So I'm going to share my screen again. I think I'm sharing my entire screen. All right, so let's go. So we'll pull up the plugin route to do this. So I'm going to, for those who are new to plugins and you have the paid accounts, you would go toggle from 3.5 to GPT-4, and then you want to scroll down to plugin beta. Once you do that, you'll get this little UI here that allows you to view the plugins that you've enabled. So this is an important note, is that, and this is something I do now that I have, you can see here, I have a number of plugins. I tend to turn them on and off depending on what I'm doing. You can leave them all on. The only downside of leaving all the plugins on is if you unintentionally prompt or write the text that initiates that plugin, you could unintentionally set off another plugin that you weren't intending to interact with. So if I were to turn all of these on, oh, actually, they've now set a limit because I used to turn more of these on. But you can turn 3 plugins on at a time now. It looks like they've changed that than when I was doing this. But I tend to really leave only 1 on at a time, or maybe 2, depending if I'm trying to chain multiple plugins together to do a more complex thing. But to Corey's question, I'm going to show the coding plugin first, which if you're looking for it, you want to go to plugin store, and it's called Dev Script. I'm going from memory. There's actually a new one now. I haven't seen that one before. Let's see, Dev. Oh no, it's because I've already installed it. Honestly, this is probably the other thing that's weird. Hopefully at some point very soon, ChatGPT figures out a better way to navigate through all the apps. Deploy script, that's why I couldn't find it. Deploy script is the one I'm looking for. But if you want to find it yourself, you can go into plugin store, and you can, if you're navigating here for the first time, you go to this little search bar and you click install to add that plugin to your ChatGPT account. So I've already done that. I'm going to take you to a chat that I've already done. And I've done a more advanced one here. Actually, I'm going to go to the more advanced version of this one, if I can find it in my chat history. If you give me 1 second. Gosh, where is this thing? So I have a lot of chat messages here. Hopefully this is the right one. This is the right one. Sorry, I was hoping I was going to figure this out fast, but I have way too many chat histories. Hopefully this is the right one. If it's that, yep, here it is. All right, so this one uses deploy script. So what you do when interacting with this plugin, you define what you want it to do. So I already had written up the scope of this one. So I said I wanted to create an app to help high school track runners find the best university that matches them based upon their track time. I already had kind of features or user stories for this, and I even had kind of the user journey mapping for it. So once you enter that, this one does require logging in, so I had to create a login for deploy script. I think they've recently just changed it because I think they were getting way too much demand. So I think there's even more rules. But one thing this plugin was doing before they made changes to the way their plugin functions is as soon as you put in the prompt, it actually starts running and generating the code and deploying the code for you. So then I was able to just click the links that it produced and it gave me my app. So this one's pretty neat. I know they've been changing some of the functions of this plugin because of how popular it got pretty quickly. And so you can see one thing I was doing with this one, and there's a few other coding ones, is as it produces codes, you can go back and tell it to make changes. So as I was getting the results, I then told it to then generate a list of universities that match and meet the students' track times and minimums. I think there's another one when I added to change the visual style to look like Facebook. And then I asked it to change the heading from create your profile to find your match. So this one's pretty neat. I know it's been changing its capabilities because of demand, but this was actually pretty neat to be able to just write prompts to their plugin and have their service rewrite the code for me. Even I wrote a prompt that I asked it to change the layout from a 1/4 column to 3/4 column layout. So that's how I ended up with my searching over here. And actually, I think it still works. I don't think I changed anything. So yeah, so even I gave it the image URL. So I went on Google and just found placeholder image somewhere in Google. So I gave it the URL to the image and asked it to include it as a default image for all the universities. So this plugin was pretty neat to be able to kind of sit down in like 15 minutes to basically create a working prototype of an idea. So I skipped the whole point of like creating wireframes or mocking it up. I just went to ChatGPT, went to this tool and asked it to create a version of this app that we're playing around with. And it actually created functioning working code that it deployed immediately for me based upon the prompts I gave it. So to Corey's question, this is one way to be able, using plugins, to get functional code and actually creates the actual files. So actually, let's see if this works. But I think this may actually be, I can right click, I believe you can right click. Yeah, if I right click and save, it actually saves the CSS, the HTML, and the JavaScript file. And actually, I think I put it in another web-based tool to actually see the code myself working in the browser. So, but yeah, Corey, to your question in terms of if you're a business and you want to play around with ideas or even create a quick app, this probably is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of being able to add a plugin and have that plugin actually write code for you, and actually iterate through it by just doing text prompts to make modifications to the code that's being generated. So I'll pause there to see if there's any other questions, but this is definitely one of the plugins I wanted to show, which is the capabilities of plugins. And I saw just from the search, because there's more and more being added every day, that there's more plugins that are kind of coding assistants that could be ones to explore from the plugin store. All right, cool. Yes, I'll definitely share a recording of this meeting. I think I don't see the plugin option for under GTP4. Oh, let's see here. For those who do have the paid account and you do not see the plugin option, let's give me 1 second, but I will. There was a point of time that, from what I heard from the news, they were letting all paid ChatGPT users access plugins, but it may require, they may have, because of the demand, turned back on the wait list. So if they have turned back on the wait list, I would recommend going here. So let me put this in chat because this is really important. If you are a paid user and you're not seeing the chat plugin feature in ChatGPT, then they may have turned back on the chat plugin waitlist to get access to it. But from news I heard about 2 weeks ago, they were making it available for all paid users. But to be honest, OpenAI ChatGPT tends to change the rules once or twice a week. So I would not be surprised if they've now walled it off again for not every paid user. So, but here's the link. If you are paid, $20 subscriber and you don't see the plugin. Oh, actually, you know what? I think to your question, if you are paid and you're still not seeing it and you do the wait list, another place to check is if you go to settings and if you go to beta features, you can toggle on plugin. So I think that was for one of the comments. If you still don't see plugins and you've done the wait list, I will also double, triple check that if plugins has been disabled or enabled for your account, and you can double check that by going to the 3 dots here next to your name, settings, and then going to beta features, and then toggling on and off plugins. So that may be the other reason why you may not be seeing it, is that it's actually disabled. All right, I want to make sure I haven't missed any other important questions. Cool. All right, cool. All right. All right, so that's our first one. All right, let's jump into another one. I'm gonna go back here and start a new chat. The other thing to note is once you've started a chat with a plugin, you can't stop it. So it's important, if you are planning to do a more complex thread of chats and you plan on using multiple plugins, you got to make sure to add that plugin before you start the thread, comment thread, or start the thread. If not, you won't be able to add it later. All right, cool. So I'm going to turn off this coding one. And then also to Corey's question, what I'll do later is I'll drop in a prompt that you can use that can help you, assist you with writing code. You can basically say, ChatGPT as a expert coding trainer, help me pretend to be a AI trainer, continue to ask me questions or walk me through writing this type of code. So there's a prompt that I have that can help you have ChatGPT role play and pretend to be a program software programmer instructor for you. All right, cool. All right, let's jump to the next one. I want to do, there's an AI for that. So this one's really helpful, particularly thinking about business applications of AI. If you're looking and there's hundreds, if hundreds of new AI tools coming out every day, it's pretty hard to keep track of them. There's a few of these AI directory search apps that you'll be able to find in the plugin store. But this is just one that I've used before. But if you want to find an AI app for helping me with Facebook, or actually, I think someone asked me about SEO with SEO keywords. All right, so what this plugin does is they already have a database of plugins, and so you can see, and if you click this little green drop-down button, you can see the actions that this plugin's doing behind the scenes. So you can see it's making a query or request against their own service, and now it's returning back the, oops, I didn't mean to click the link just yet. It's returning back from their list or their directory or database of AIs, the ones that match my need. So this one's really useful if you can't keep up with all the latest and greatest AI tools that are out there, that this is a really quick way to be able to kind of do your Google search of some of the latest AI tools that are out there. I'm just going to click on one to see if this is real and make sure it didn't hallucinate. But no, this is great. And actually, this is also a very good example in terms of talking about how this being a great business solution. As you can see that there is an app for that, is a existing app, and probably what they've done, which is really just expose their database of AI apps to a plugin. And so now they're getting even more traffic to their website, because now there are people that are now using there is a app for that plugin on ChatGPT. They send back a link to a AI that they've listed on their site, and now you click the link from ChatGPT, and now you're on their site taking a look at sites that they're highlighting. So again, if you have a business and you're thinking about ways to get more visibility, if you already have a rich data set of some unique information that people could find value in, you probably want to explore the idea of working with a developer with implementing a ChatGPT plugin and kind of riding the hype. So, but yeah, so that's one plugin that I use just because there's so many AI tools out there that it's kind of hard to keep track of which ones do what. So hopefully, is there any questions on that one? If not, I'll move on. Let's see. Share recording. Yep, I saw. Thanks for dropping that in there. All right, cool. All right. So that covers search, but you'll also find, speaking of search, there's another one I want highlighted that was search related, which is because ChatGPT recently disabled search with Bing as a option for GTP or ChatGPT Plus users or premium users. There's a plugin that works really well, actually works better than Bing in terms of web searches or scraping information off web pages. So I would recommend Web Pilot. I believe there is even more kind of web enabling plugins on ChatGPT, but this one's worked really well for me. Plus it goes a little deeper than just the homepage. I'll look further into the site. I did, before our call today, I did one. So I used our company's website, and I think I just asked it to give me a summary. So here you can see it did a summary of our site. It scraped information. I need to update our address because that's wrong. And then it pulled out some thought-provoking insights, section technology and user experience. And all right, these are all pretty good. Yeah, so this was Web Pilot. So yes, if you're looking for a ChatGPT plugin that gives ChatGPT access to the internet. And this becomes really helpful and useful thinking about really useful use cases is if you're trying to ask ChatGPT for very relevant news that's today, because ChatGPT is trained to May 2024. It's not trained to information that came out yesterday. You're able to take advantage of Web Pilot to give it web capabilities to be able to understand context or to look at pages, or you can create a prompt that says, look at this page, create a summary, and based upon that summary, create content for me based upon this page. So being able to give ChatGPT access to the internet can allow you to create even more powerful results with the prompts that you're creating. But yes, as now that feature is gone, I would definitely recommend adding Web Pilot as one that I've used much more often, because it doesn't just crawl the homepage, it crawls the secondary pages of the site as well. So I think that's one of the reasons why even when the plugin web feature for ChatGPT was plugged in, I still tend to use Web Pilot because it went deeper into the website than just the homepage. So I would definitely recommend for those looking to add internet or web capabilities to add that. Double check if there's any other questions. I see there's a question here about, let's see, I see two really good questions here. One is, how do plugins compare to LangChain in terms of utilizing ChatGPT for more recent data or using ChatGPT for different functions? So plugins are, I feel like plugins are just like a comparable comparison to like the Apple App Store. But for me, if you're looking to do more advanced or complex generative AI task, I would move to something that's more like an AI agent that's using LangChain. So a specific use case would be like, help me write a white paper, because ChatGPT has limits, and it's how much text it can output, as well as how much information you can input. And you're trying to do a long chain of tasks or prompts, I would probably move to something that's more like an AI agent, and I can share links to that or highlight a few that I use daily that are web-based tools for those who are new to it. But there is things that are autonomous AI that allows your chat prompt to continue to work without your prompting or with your prompting, but also using LangChain or Baby AGI to give the language model the ability to make decisions based upon the prompt that was asked of it. So there are some plugins that do give you capabilities of doing things that are like autonomous AI, but I tend to either, if I'm looking for a really quick solution for a much bigger or complex task, move to, actually I have one up, like Agent GPT to do more complex or larger generative AI task. There's another one which I don't see up that I use a lot. And then also, for those who are really interested, I'll share a GitHub repo to, gosh, why can't I remember the name of this one? Gosh, I'll put it in the chat because I can't remember the name of it. Here it is. Baby AGI UI is really good. So if you are a little bit more advanced, you can deploy this version of Baby AGI, or actually there's a few different autonomous AI models in here. And you can use, they have a deploy using Vercel option in here somewhere. I think it's probably, you can use here to deploy this UI on top of a autonomous AI to be able to prompt it. You will still need to put in your own OpenAI API key, and You'll need have your own SERP API for doing web searches, but when you do that, you're able to take advantage of this. I use this a lot. You can see here, I use it a lot, but it's been great because you'll see here, I even used it here today to extend and to do some deeper research into some of the topics that we were covering today. And so you'll see it's pretty neat. I'll go off and create subtask for every single. So I gave it all the plugins I wanted to cover today, and I gave it a structure for generating a summary for them, as well as the kind of advantages of using the plugin. So that's where I'm going to dump a lot of this research that I had my little AI agent generate for me to drop into the chat, because I went back through and actually played with. I think I got through most of them that it generated, but there are some that it uncovered that I haven't tried before. But there's definitely, I'll share some of the outputs of this. But yeah, I would definitely recommend. Oh, and for that follow-up question from Bella, how much space and power do you need on the computer? All of this is web-based. For this particular tool, this is deployed to Vercel. So even with the free account of Vercel, which is a web hosting service, you're able to deploy it without running it on your own computer. But what it does take is, because I run a bunch of things in the browser, it sucks a bunch of RAM out of your computer through Chrome, because I'm running a bunch of things that are doing a bunch of real-time actions and returning them in the browser. And so it tends to be pretty intensive on your computer in terms of RAM. So if you're running a bunch of particularly autonomous AI and it's doing it in the browser, or you're using Docker or some other tool to run it, it's going to suck up a lot of RAM or processing on your computer to keep all that stuff running. So is Baby AGI UI an AI agent? What Baby AGI UI is really just an interface to interface with multiple autonomous AI models or code models. Before they had a few more. I haven't done a pull of the repo in a few weeks, but there was a few that he had on here that were more experimental. So I think he had Baby AGI, he had Auto GPT, or he had a few other ones on here. And Baby Deer AGI is actually pretty good. It actually finishes the task. One thing a lot of these autonomous AIs downside is they tend to just turn forever, but never actually completing the task that's been assigned. I think out of all of them, Baby Deer AGI has been probably the most concise in terms of allowing it to run autonomously and achieve the task, because it actually, like, I can share with the one I did for some additional research for today. You can see it actually completed the task. It created, was it 25 tasks for itself based upon all the plugins I gave it, and it actually completed all 25 tasks. There's some other AGIs that will create infinite number of tasks and never officially end its cycle, and it will go forever. But this Baby Deer one has probably been the most useful in terms of that. All right, cool. I see a few more questions here. I just want to make sure we're giving space for those who have questions. Can you use the technology to create photos or graphics? All right, cool. I will highlight the one plugin called photorealism. So let me go back to here, and there's way more plugins than there is time. So I will respond to the questions, but in the Slack channel, I'll make sure everyone has access to it. I'm going to dump ones that I've worked on, plus some that I've researched, plus some YouTube videos on plugins, and I'll drop them all in the Slack channel, just because there's going to be way more plugins than time to go through all of them. But I'll highlight ones that are being asked for, or topics of ones that are being asked for. So for creating images, so the hardest part with creating good images or generative images is coming up with good prompts for them. So I shared using this like Midjourney prompt using this Chrome extension, but if you don't have that Chrome extension, you can find this plugin called Photorealism or Photorealistic. And it works in a very similar way as this Chrome extension I'm using, and that helped me create the text prompt. So I'm going to create another one here. I want, oh, actually, I think I did this one already, just in advance of having one here. Yeah, so I used this one before. So I used the photo realistic prompt. I said, give me photo. I want to create photos of Mars. It gave me two prompts here. So I'm actually going to grab one so we can give it a run. These are exporting in the format of Midjourney, and I can tell that because of these parameters that are fed here at the end. These are definitely indicative of a Midjourney text prompt, but there's other image generative platforms, but Midjourney or Stable Diffusion are some of the best ones. Oh, here's the one that we did earlier. That's pretty neat. This was the basketball player dunking. That came out pretty good. That was just me using that Chrome extension. So let's see comparable prompt to this one. So I think we asked for Mars. This is the one I did earlier. This is the first prompt it generated. And so let me go back to Midjourney. For those who aren't familiar, Midjourney is a generative AI framework. They use Discord, the messaging platform, to allow you to interact with the bot. In my use case, I have my own Discord server, so I added the Midjourney bot there. So now I'm interacting directly to it there. So it's generating the image prompt that was provided here, but you can see this is the one it created for me from the first prompt. I don't know that I guess that doesn't make sense because I don't think Earth or there's any moon that close to Mars that it looks like that, but that's cool. But that you can see without having to get really creative or you have to figure out a really elaborate prompt on my own, I was able to get a really high quality image without having to get creative and start with a blank slate with trying to figure out a good text prompt to get this quality of image. So it's a really great way for if you're thinking about for a business use case, if you've written a blog for the company or you're trying to figure out images for a website and you don't want to buy a stock photo. I haven't bought a stock photo in months now that I've gotten really good with Midjourney. I create the images I want for the stuff that we're working on. So using this plugin or using that Chrome extension are really great ways of getting really great images out of this tool. Oh, this one's even better. Oh, these are great. But yeah, that shows you the power of this plugin of being able to get really great images and creating really good text prompts to get better outputs than what you probably could do on your own, trying to kind of write your own image text prompt for these image generation tools. But yeah, these are really nice. Let me take a look at the chat because I saw a few more come in. Let's see here. All right, cool. I see. Thanks for those adding links to Slack channel. All right, cool. I see there's a message here about medical applications. Actually, I think I saw a plugin for this, but I don't think I had a chance to try it out. Give me a second. I think I have one in my notes. If not, let's take a look at the plugin app store, but I'm going to quickly look at my notes because I believe I was looking to that question around medical. I just see this one here. Let's just try. Here we go. So we have Medicine Explorer, facilitate access to medicine articles, and NFI expert journalist. What else we have in here? Doctor's Life. I'm curious. Let's. There's a bug in the plugin. Look at that. I haven't seen that before, so that's a first. Let's try this one. Oh, all right, something funky is happening. All right, I'm going to reload my browser since the plugin's not installing. Let's give it a shot. Oh, I got booted out and we log back in to ChatGPT. Give me 1 second. let's give this a try again. Let's see. I don't see any clear plugins, but I guess to your question about medical, I think I could swear I saw one. I got to take a look at my notes. I'll share that in the Slack channel, but I could have swore I saw one around kind of like WebMD like questions. I just since I have so many things up, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find that one really quickly, but I'll drop that into the Slack channel for those who may be interested. I'm going to highlight Prompt Perfect because I think this one's really helpful, as well as actually before I show Prompt Perfect, I think one that's I found extremely helpful for me has been for a lot of us in business. You have to create diagrams or things for the work that you do every single day. And so one thing that, and actually I'm going to pull up one that I've already run already. So let's find that one. Actually, we'll just do one here in real time. But what this does really well is it allows you to kind of type in the type of diagram that you need, and it will actually go off to the plugin and generate the diagram for you. So let's see. And actually, I want to try it. I didn't try this before, but let's see if we can get this to work. Can you provide me the stock price for Disney for last week? So, yep, so one thing I wanted to see, so I turned on the web pilot plugin to be able to give ChatGPT the ability to search the web. So now I'm going to say, now taking the results, create a chart.
Marcus, so sorry to interrupt you, but your screen seems to be frozen that you're sharing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for calling it out because I totally forgot to unpause it.
Yeah, it's working again now. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sorry if you didn't see that. I totally. So what I just did is I enabled two plugins. I enabled the web pilot plugin as well as the charts for me plugin to show combining two plugins at once. So I first asked ChatGPT to tell me the stock price for Disney for the last week. And now I'm asking ChatGPT to generate a chart representing the profit for Disney for the last week. So let's see, hopefully the plugin works as it has done in the past. So there you go. And so that's kind of one way where you can chain together multiple plugins in one chat, where I'm using the web pilot to be able to search for Disney stock. And then I'm using the show me diagrams plugin to actually generate a chart for me. I probably should have told it what type of chart I wanted. I think it took its best guess at the style of chart that I wanted. So I probably could be even more clear on the type of chart that I want, but this kind of shows the power of plugins if you're getting really creative with them in terms of mixing them together. And thinking about if this is work related, then maybe your job is always asking you to do research on different companies and generate charts on those different companies. If you know the style of charts that you want it to create, so I guess it picked a mermaid this diagram is a line chart. So I could probably be even more specific on how I want the chart to be created. And maybe this now simplifies the research you need to do every day or once a week for your business by combining these two plugins together. So that's where I found these plugins to be really powerful, or one is really expanding the capabilities of ChatGPT to support research, or some of the plugins that actually initiate action or are connected to third-party tools to actually generate things. So this is another really great example of like the show me diagrams one. I believe I did have to create an account for this one, but once I create an account, I haven't been charged for it. It's still free. I'm still using the free tier. It then creates a diagram for me that generates a link. So I can share that link with someone else. But this has been really helpful. I've actually used this. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Let's see if I can find the one I did for a client, but I used the diagram. I had a pretty clear breakdown of how I wanted a user flow chart to look. And it actually did a really great job of visually laying out the flow chart based upon the text prompt. I wish I could, once I find it, I'll drop it into the Slack channel, but again, you can combine multiple plugins together, like the web search one, and you can see, I think the other thing I really do appreciate with the plugins is it allows you to see where and what it's doing. So I can see that with Web Pilot, it went off to Google. I can see kind of the keyword search it applied to its Google search, and I can actually see the results. I can see it went to Market Watch and other places to get the information. So I can even kind of check the source of the information. And then the same thing with the diagram. I can see what information was sent over to the third-party plugin and then what it sent back to me. So plugins are pretty neat. So let's see, I see there's a few more comments here. So let's see what else we have here. So I definitely want to focus on the subjects or plugins people have questions on, and I will definitely leave the recording as well as dump even more plugins that I've used into the channel, Slack channel, for people to take advantage of. Once you installed a set of plugins, must once specify which plugin that you want to tap into. So yeah, that's a great question from Charles. You don't have to actually, some of the plugins make it very clear in when you install them, how to initiate them. So actually, I'll go back here to Charles' question, which is a great one. You don't have to explicitly say, like for the example, actually, that's a great, the one I just did was a pretty good example. I didn't explicitly call out the plugin Web Pilot, but when I prompted ChatGPT for the latest stock price and I had the plugin enabled, it automatically knew that it needed to use that plugin to fulfill. Maybe it's not automatic because there's probably a little bit of training in there. But I'm sure ChatGPT's now been training their model to pick up the intent that I was looking for the latest information, and that required using the Web Pilot plugin to get access to the internet to make the search request. So I don't have to explicitly say ChatGPT using the Web Pilot plugin search for Disney stock price for the last week. I don't have to do that. It picks that up. And the same thing with the chart. I didn't explicitly call out show me diagrams in my text prompt. I just wrote create me a chart that represents the profit of Disney over the last week. So you don't have to explicitly call out the plugin to initiate it, but there are some plugins that are much more, they define much more explicitly how you initiate it. Some even, you maybe do like a /. So I've seen other plugins that are much more descriptive in how you request it to begin interacting with it. Which plugin gives you options of writing styles at the bottom? Oh, all right, that one, this little pop-up here is coming from this Chrome extension, the AI PRM. So it provides that little widget, that you're seeing above my text input for this. And obviously you can see it only gives me 2. And so if I wanted more, I have to pay them. But overall, I do like the plugin. It works really well. And it makes it actually really easy to share prompts with other people. So if you're on a team of people, but yeah, you definitely, to really take advantage of it, have to pay for it, but I'm done paying people for AI tools at the moment. To the question to RJ, he asked about security risks with plugins. Like I said at the beginning, I would, depending on your level of concern around security or the information you're sharing, I would be thoughtful or careful with plugins in terms of which ones you're using. I think, just to be honest, I think ChatGPT has been moving very quickly with the integration of plugins. And unlike Google and Apple, the app stores where there's developers that review every update of your app every time you push it, I don't see that same level of kind of due diligence being done with the plugins for ChatGPT. So I would, particularly ones that ask you to log in, create an account, that are storing your data outside of ChatGPT, I would be cautious for that. So I would just say, yeah, plugins should be, I really only use the plugins for research or extending research. There are some more trusted ones in here like Zapier, that I feel more comfortable using in terms of the information I share with it, because it's a well-known application in business, and you still authenticate directly to Zapier once you initiate the plugin. So there's ones like that that are just much more reputable, and I trust those companies with quotation marks more than I trust third-party developers I've never heard of. So that's just kind of the grain of salt there of, I just would still be very thoughtful with the information. And because a lot of times I'm just using it to extend doing research, or like there's an AI for that, I'm just using these plugins to scrape web pages, do Google searches to make my ChatGPT experience better. But I'm still being pretty thoughtful when it comes to the plugins about what information I share with them until they prove to me that they can be trustworthy. But yes, just be very mindful of that. Hopefully in the future, ChatGPT does a better process of vetting and testing and ensuring that the people who are uploading plugins are being respectful with people's information. I would just be super careful until then. All right, going back through here. Okay, I want to experiment with voice AI and image and videos. Okay, here's to that question around like experimenting with voice AI and images and videos. And I see we have like 15 minutes left, so I'll probably make this the last one and then make sure everyone has all the information and need links and things and access to Slack so we can keep this going. So I can be respectful of everyone's time. All right, so for that one, there's a plugin that I use because I have clients that are always looking to like put up videos or do other things. So there's this plugin called Chat with Video. So this one's really good for helping create scripts of things. And what it will do is going to ask you a bunch of questions about your video. So I will say, I want to create a video about my digital agency and new offer development. Cool. So now that I gave it that prompt, it's going to go through, it's going to help me with creating the script for the video. So this is pretty neat. So before, you'll probably need to write a really thoughtful ChatGPT prompt on your own or find one somewhere else on the internet. Now this plugin with enabling it can help you write that script. If you're being really vague at the beginning, it will actually walk you through a bunch of questions to help refine the scope or the type of script. And then to go on off the script for today, you can use a tool like, I was actually just doing this before the call. You can use a tool called did.com to then, actually, let me do this. I'll do one while we're talking. I'm going to pick the guy I created in Midjourney, and I'm going to take the script that was just created. Can you just include the voice over text without notation? Let's see if this does what I want it to do. All right, so I wanted to remove all the notations out of the script. I just want the script itself. All right, perfect. It's doing it, kinda. So I'm gonna take what it's creating. All right, I'll just take that part. You can take the script it creates, go into here, drop it in. That's probably too many words because I don't want to pay for any more tools. Let's say the company's called Finn. Shameless self-promotion. And then
in the digital age, your
oh,
website.
it may not actually, I'm going to share just this browser tab to see if that, make sure you can hear it.
In the digital age, your website is more than just a business
Oh,
card.
actually, I guess I should have asked my avatar his pronoun, but we're going to just assume he is Guy.
In the digital age.
All right, cool. And then we are going to generate the video. So let's see, generate. So there you go. If you're looking to create videos, DID is probably the most popular for creating these little AI avatar videos. There's other ones like Hey Jenny. Actually, Hey Jenny, which is one that I don't think I got around to highlighting, but Hey Jenny is another one of these while our video is being processed, is another plugin that's directly in here that will, it's actually I'm not sure if I deleted or kept this one. Yeah, Hey Jen is another one of these AI video generators. I'm going to turn that one on because this one does it directly in it. It's actually, I want to create a video for my carpet cleaning business called Green Floors and promote new July 4th promotion. All right, cool. And so actually, while that's at work, I'm going to go back to here. So here's the one that we just did.
In the digital age, your website is more than just a business card. It's a statement, a first impression, and a 24/7 storefront. At FIN, we understand the importance of a strong online presence.
Cool. So there's your video that we did, I guess, in like 5 minutes of, we had this guy create a prompt. Yes, it looks good. We're gonna let Hey Jen work. So now Hey Jen just created, this was our July 4th special promotion for green floors. And now Hey Jen is sending that text over to create the video. So while that's working, this is the beauty of generative AI. While we can talk and make sure everyone has notes and access to ChatGPT or into the Slack channel, we can have ChatGPT creating a video for us. Oh, there it is. Let's take a look. Let's see what we got. Oh, it's still generating. So let's give it a second. But again, this is obviously what makes generative AI really interesting, and it also makes plugins really interesting, is as these plugins get better and better, and as more companies take advantage of exposing their plugins to ChatGPT by way of plugins. Imagine if you connect, and actually this is where the magic can come in. You can, I'm gonna go back and connect the web. So let's do this. All right, this is the last one, seriously. I'm going to ChatGPT 4, and I'm going to turn on both the web. And so what I'm concocting in my head, I'm going to ask, find the 3 latest AI trends for today. So I'm going to create a video on the top AI trends for the day. So ChatGPT web pilot's going to go off into the internet and find trending AI news. I'm then going to ask, hey, Jen, to create a video based upon the latest AI news, and create a video for me. But again, this is where you start combining a few of these things together, and now you can start creating really interesting workflows where you're not doing any work except for the AI is here doing it for you. So while we do that, I want to make sure everyone has access to the Slack channel. So then, hey, Jen is working, this is working. Let's make sure everyone gets access to Slack. All right, this is great. We got a lot of faces in here, which is very cool. All right, so it's now web pilots doing our research for us. And then I'm going to ask, hey, Jen, to create a quick summary. And then we can plug into, hey, Jen, to create us a AI news reporter on the latest news for today. And then if we connected in Zapier, Zapier, we could probably then ask Zapier to then plug in our Hey Jen video and post it on Instagram or our YouTube channel. I don't know. We could probably really go off the charts. We really wanted to combine those 3 things together. So now I'm going to say, I want to create a video the highlights of today's trending news. Oops. Oh no. Terrible timing. This is terrible timing. And this is also, for those who've never seen this before, there is a limit of how many requests you can make to GTP4 model within an hour time frame. I think you can't do more than like 20 or 30. I thought they raised that limit, but I guess I have tapped out my usage of chat or GTP4 model. So I can't finish this. This would have been awesome. I was trying to finish this one, but you can see where I was going with it, which is I asked for the latest AI trends for today. I got them. AI weather forecasting. That's pretty cool. And then what I was going to ask Hey Jen to do was to create a summary and video of those latest trends. And then if I had something like Zapier, it's they say, if I had a Zapier zap that took what I created in ChatGPT and then I had a zap for posting to my LinkedIn or Instagram, I could potentially have it from those prompts post to my Instagram the video that I asked it. From the news that I asked, from the news to the video, from the video, asking Zapier to post this to my LinkedIn. So it would have been awesome if I didn't max out my GTP4 usage in the last hour, but I see there's comment from Madison about downgrading to 3.5, but if I don't think I've ever tried this with the plugins. If I downgrade the 3.5, if it'll allow me to keep using the plugins, but let's give it a shot. Let's see if this works. I'm not sure this will work, but let's see. This is me doing it live because I've never actually maxed out the 4 model, and then yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's not going to, once it reverts down to 4, I'm going to lose my plugin access because the 3.5 model doesn't have access to the plugins. So, but that was maybe that's something I can continue in the Slack channel or do a video of combining 3 plugins together. That was kind of my grand finale, but ChatGPT kind of stole my thunder there. But you kind of get the gist of it, and this is kind of the beauty of these plugins. You can try to put them together, chain together multiple plugins to be able to kind of extend the features and functionalities of ChatGPT. As more plugins come out, the more you're able to maybe combine these plugins together, multiple systems, access to the internet, to be able to take advantage of their capabilities. Let's just make sure everyone can get into the Slack channel, make sure we can get invites out for everyone who wants to get in. I will drop this into the Slack channel, and I think Benny may have also put it in there as well. I'll also send an email out after. Here's the invite link. I'm going to drop it in here, but after the call, I'll make sure that we will share access to the Slack groups. Also, if you know people who you think want to join, should join, who love AI, interested in it, we will drop, they can join as well. So this is not only for people part of the meetup. So definitely feel free. I will, there are some interesting things I want to do with the Slack channel. I'm going to be adding bots and things that we've been tinkering with to the Slack channel. So if you want to, I was planning on adding like a Discord bot to the Slack channel. So just a channel for people to tinker with Discord directly in Slack, as well as a couple of different trained language models using LangChain. So some of those who are interested in LangChain, I was going to start training a couple of different bots inside of the Slack channel on different topics, on information that I'm training it on. So just kind of showing you also what we're doing with our agency and helping businesses figure out how to implement AI for their business. And so there's some things that we've been tinkering on that I'll drop in, functionality that I'll drop into the Slack channel. I'll drop also the Zoom recording as well as slides that we had here, as well as previous slides and videos from other meetups. So we'll use the Slack channel to communicate, share information, and stay connected in between each meetup. Also, just to highlight, we are starting to do more trainings. We're doing 2 trainings coming up. So if you really enjoyed this, we are doing a training on how to launch your AI side hustle in one night. This one will be paid, but this one's paid because we're going to also be providing a bunch of one sheets and SOPs on how to do this stuff on your own. So it's going to be pretty hands-on. We're going to be dumping a ton of information on how to use, I showed Pete's of how to use Midjourney and 11 Labs for creating audio, and ID for creating videos. So we're going even deeper on that and a few different additional subjects. So those who are interested, there's a virtual session for that. That will be next Wednesday. For those who would like to join, I'll just drop a link. And then those who are in the area, we're doing an in-person training at Morgan State University in Baltimore. So those who are interested and want to do an in-person training, hands-on, from ChatGPT to Midjourney to DID to doing all these things, the goal is within the workshop that you are able to create faceless videos for YouTubes that could create money or generate money for you, be able to create podcasts without your own voice, how to create art using things like Midjourney, to then be able to sell on Etsy or any other platform, but be able to figure out how to start monetizing or creating ways that spark your interest with using these AI tools to be able to find ways to create a little side hustle or ways that you can monetize. But then for related to the idea here is that you're able to start figuring out ways for your own business to take advantage of these AI and generative tools to help advance your business more quickly, more effectively, and save time, effort, and money. So we're really excited about these trainings. We're excited about our partnership with Morgan State University to be able to offer this to the students there. And to Madison's questions, will you cover business or growth strategies with AI side hustles? We'll definitely cover that. I'll even show you ones that I have kind of successfully implemented, particularly like taking art generated on Midjourney, creating an Etsy store, using Midjourney to create advertisements for your art, and putting it on Pinterest and other places where your art can be discovered. And you can use a very similar model for affiliate marketing, where I even kind of showed in a previous session where we were doing affiliate marketing for shoes. And so we took a screenshot of the sneaker that we wanted to affiliate market. We used Midjourney to create a version of that, but make it look like a Nike ad. So it was like snow falling around the sneaker. We took that, put it on Pinterest, put our affiliate link into the Pinterest post to generate organic links to buying that sneaker. So there's some really interesting ways that you can combine these, but you can start thinking about how you can use these same tools to market your business. And so even for this training, this image that's used here for the Eventbrite was created using Midjourney. The video that plays for the Eventbrite was created using a script generated using ChatGPT and then using DID. And so those are all the things I was able to do without needing to hire another designer, hire a videographer, hire an editor, hire a copywriter to then write the copy for the workshop, to actually, or hire a workshop course creator person to help me write the course. I was able to use AI to assist me through the entire process to be able to do it in days, not weeks or months. And even this video for the promotion was done, I probably did the whole thing in 10 minutes, from creating the script, creating my little guy using Midjourney. I think I used a prompt. I used one of these prompt creators to come up with a style for the person I uploaded. And then I uploaded the picture and used the picture I uploaded to create my person. And so again, it could be, these tools make workflows.
Hey there, future AI moguls. Have you ever thought about using AI to launch a side hustle?
So all these things allow you to move really quickly. And so I think that's the exciting part of this workshop, is one, to give you really quick exposure over a couple of hours, even more extended than the time we have here, to go really deep into some of these tools, how they work, get a bunch of kind of strategies and tools that we've already been going through on how to use these tools effectively and not to waste time tinkering and picking the wrong ones, and how to actually, if you're looking, create an ad for a promotion. Here's all the steps you need to do. Here's the tools to use them. And here's how you create them in minutes to be able to be effectively able to mark a promotion or something you're trying to do with your company. So we're really excited for these. We're excited with our partnership with Morgan State University to be able to provide this opportunity, particularly in person, to help people learn these tools. So definitely excited. Thank you for joining. If there's any closing questions, definitely drop them in the Slack channel. We got each other now in there. So once this is done and recorded, I'll drop it all in there. Feel free to, I guess, DM me. I'm in the Slack channel as well. So if you have any additional questions or are looking for slides or other things, but tonight I'll dump a bunch of other stuff into the Slack channel. but feel free to collaborate, share. I'm hoping this could be a vibrant way for us. Oh yeah, that's right. Let's see what it created. Thank you. I totally forgot that we did it.
Hello, everyone. We at Green Floors are excited to announce our special July 4th promotion. To celebrate this great day, we're offering a massive 50% discount on all our carpet cleaning
50%
services.
is pretty.
Yes, you heard it right, 50% off. So why wait? Give your carpets a new lease of life with Green Floors. Our expert team uses eco-friendly solutions to ensure your carpets are not just clean, but green. This offer is valid only for a limited time. So hurry up and book your service today. Green Floors, where we care for your carpets and the environment.
Wow, that was pretty good for a made-up company that I didn't give any context for. And yeah, that's actually pretty darn good. I think the only trade-off, some of these tools, I'm not always in love with how they render the little AI avatars, but there's ways to get around that because you can make the AI avatar smaller or put them in a little small bubble. So some of the disconnect in terms of the mouth movement and the words are less noticeable when you make the AI generated avatar smaller. So that's the way that I go. When they're this big, it's pretty easy to tell that the voice and the lips are pretty far off. But if you make them really tiny or put them in a little bubble in the corner, so maybe you're doing like a walkthrough of a product or like an app or like clicking through your website, you can put them in a small little bubble in the bottom of the screen. So you can see the head movements, you can barely see the lips, and people are more focused on the audio they're hearing and not that the avatar's lips aren't in sync with the audio. So that's usually the recommendation I make, which is, yeah, just focus. Usually with these, I just make the AI generated avatar face smaller and then, or a little bit more shadowy. So then the lips and the disconnect of the lip movement aren't as easily noticeable. But really cool. That was really awesome that we were able to do that all inside of ChatGPT without having to like click a button, drag anything, select anything. We just, put in the prompt, ask for it to create a script, and then for it to create a video. So that was pretty awesome. All right, cool. Thank you guys for joining. This was exciting. We had a really awesome turnout. I think we almost got to 100 people today, which was pretty cool. So we'll look forward to the next workshop we'll have in 2 weeks. So in the Slack channel, I'll ask for shout outs for particular topics, and we'll get, if there's anyone who wants to talk or co-present on something, that would be awesome. So please do that. Drop it in the Slack channel. All right, thanks everyone. And I'll make sure to put the recording and all the other stuff there for all of us to collaborate. All right, have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. This was great.
All right, you guys have a good one.